Hello friends, welcome back to Cosmopolitan Cornbread. So I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of baking here in the kitchen today. I thought I would bring you along for that. And then later today I've got to run to Fort Smith, Arkansas. It's time for my Azure Standard order to come in. And so I'll be going to pick that up. And then after I get back home, I'll share with you what I purchased this month. Alright. So the baking that I'm going to be doing today involves some peanut butter, some oats, and I know that sounds really good, doesn't it? Like maybe some oatmeal peanut butter cookies. Well, they are going to be oatmeal peanut butter, but they're going to be oatmeal peanut butter dog biscuits. You know, we love to spoil our dogs and give them treats and everything. And a while back, I had bought a bag of dog treats, and my dogs got really sick, started throwing up like crazy, and I threw away the dog treats. Thought it was just a little bit of a fluke, and then last week, all of a sudden, one of my dogs started throwing up again, like ridiculously, and I got to thinking, could it be the brand new treats that I just bought? And then I remembered, wait a minute, this happened before. So threw away that bag of dog treats, won't buy them again, and I thought, you know what, I have 2 recipes for dog treats, dog biscuits, dog cookies on my website. Why don't I just go ahead and make some and share that with you guys? So that's what I'm going to do today. I've got my oven heating up to 350 degrees, and I have 2 baking sheets here lined with some parchment paper. So those are all ready to go. In my mixer bowl here, I've got 4 cups of flour. Now, the cookies, the dog biscuits that I'm going to be making today are a variation of a recipe that's on my website. I believe I call them peanut butter pupkies, like a puppy cookie pupkies. And I don't have all of the same ingredients in the house today, and so I'm just going to kind of modify it a little bit. So I've got 4 cups of unbleached flour. The recipe on the website is for whole wheat. And I just don't feel like grinding up fresh wheat today. I've got a half a cup of creamy peanut butter. So I'll drop that in there. The recipe calls for 2 cups of quick oats, but all I have are rolled oats. The dogs aren't going to complain. We'll go ahead and add that in. And then the recipe also calls for wheat germ, but I don't have any, just straight wheat germ in the house, so I'm just going to omit that. And then the only other ingredient I need is some warm water, about 2.5 cups ordinarily. But because I've changed out the flour, I have different oats, I'm just going to add in about 2 cups, see how it goes, and then if I need more, I'll just gradually add more until I get the right consistency of a nice, thick, kind of cookie dough texture. And so I'm going to put on my dough hook here. And grab some warm water. Alright, see that there? Alright, I'm going to add in about 1.5 cups and let that start mixing. And then we'll let the consistency of the dough determine how much more water we'll need. All right, so we've got a nice stiff cookie dough type texture here. Now I'm just going to flour my surface here. I'm going to pull out this dough. Oven is ready. And I'm just going to kind of knead this real quick just to get it nice and smooth. Make sure it's all combined real well. Alright, and now I'm rolling out my dough, and you want it to be somewhere between, well, a little more than 1/4 of an inch, a little bit less than 1/2, so somewhere around 1/3 of an inch thick. It doesn't have to be too terribly precise. You just want to get it close to that. Alright, that should do it. And now here's the part. Now you can get a little bit creative with this if you want to. If you have some cute little cookie cutters or things like that, they actually sell cookie cutters that are shaped like a dog biscuit. If you have something like that, great, that can be fun, but dogs don't care what it's shaped like. They only care how it tastes. And so I'm just going to take my pizza cutter and I'm just going to cut this into little biscuits. Alright, I'm just cutting these into strips about 1.25 inches or so wide. Nothing fancy. And now I'll cut across the other way. And you can really make these as big or as small as you want them to be. It's a very, very forgiving recipe. This is actually a fun baking project for kids to participate with. You can let them cut out the doggy biscuits. Alright, now I'm going to take all these peanut butter puppy cookies and I'm going to put them over here on my baking sheets. And you don't have to leave a lot of space in between them. You can put them pretty closely here on your pan. You just want to make sure they're not touching is all. Because there's no leavening at all in these, so they're not going to puff up or anything like that. So you don't need to worry about needing enough space. You can just load them on here. Alright, so as you can see, I've got all of the dog cookies here on my baking sheets. And now I'm just going through and I'm poking all of the cookies, the dog biscuits, with a fork. We're putting some holes in them to allow the moisture to escape. It's kind of like a shortbread cookie. There's always the little holes that allow the steam to escape because you want the cookies to be nice and crunchy. And so that's what we're doing. Alright, the dog biscuits are ready to go into the oven. They're going to bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 50 minutes. And then when the timer goes off, you're just going to turn off your oven and walk away. Don't open the oven door. Don't peek inside. Just look through the window. And you're going to leave them in there for at least 2 hours because these cookies, these dog biscuits, are going to bake and then dry in the oven. friends, so I am back from Fort Smith where I went and picked up my Azure Standard order, and I thought I would just share with you what I got this month. Not a ton of things, but I did get 3 of these boxes. I bought some more of these. These are the 1-gallon jars that they sell at Azure Standard. I love these things. I use these like crazy in my pantry. I'm a big fan of storing pantry goods in glass because they're waterproof, airproof, you can see everything that's in there, and no critters can get in. If you've ever had ants get in your house, or if you've ever had a mouse get in your pantry, that's disgusting, and this keeps everything out. So I got 3 cases of those just because I have a lot of dry goods that I have bought recently, and I don't like storing them in bags. I don't like storing them in their original containers. I like to transfer everything into glass because, again, all the reasons I just stated. So I got 3 cases of those. So I got 12 more of those. And then this is one of my repack boxes. They will consolidate all the things that you ordered into boxes. So like this box has a whole bunch of things that I ordered. And then when you get your confirmation that your order's on the way, you know, you put in your order for all your stuff. Then when you get your confirmation, they'll actually tell you how many boxes or packages that you will need to look for when you pick your order up to make sure you've gotten everything. So this is just some andouille sausage. You know, it's really hard to find andouille sausage that isn't made out of pork. You know, even if you can find it made out of chicken or something like that, a lot of times it still has a pork casing. And this does not. This is just straight up beef. So I'm going to pop that straight into the freezer. And then my other frozen item that I got was some summer sausage. Also beef. No pork in sight. Alright, so that's that little box. And we got this one. Alright. I got a case of Bing cherries. Now, I am not a huge cherry fan. I don't like cherry flavored things. I'm not a fan of maraschino cherries or anything like that, but I love Bing cherries. Now, my plan for these, of course, I am going to eat a couple of them, but the rest of them, I am going to totally stain my hands. I'm going to pit them, have them, and I'm going to freeze dry them. And so that's my plan for these, to put them up, and you know, I can use them later on for baking and things like that, but that's my plan for these. That's all that was in that box. Okay, so I've got, now I have a recipe, I might even have a video about it, I'm not sure, for homemade Italian seasoning, but you know, sometimes you're busy and it's easy to just throw this into your cart when you're putting in an order anyways. So I ordered one pound of Italian seasoning mix, my herb blend. I use a lot of this. And then I've got a whole bunch of vanilla extract in the works. But it's going to be a while before this is ready to use. I started this July 14th. I've actually got 2 bottles this size and then this one. July 14th. And really you want to let it go for at least 2 months. I like to go a little bit longer, like 3 or 4 months. So in the meantime, I'm out of vanilla extract. So I picked up a small-ish bottle of some more organic vanilla extract from Azure. And then I also ordered a bunch of cheeses. I got some ricotta cheese, and I ordered 3 cartons of, focus, I ordered 3 cartons of Parmesan. One of these will go in the fridge, and then I'll put the other 2 in the freezer for now. And then I got 2 great big blocks of cheese, because I learned something recently that I did not know. I was listening to a podcast. It was one of the Life podcast series, in that series. And there was a gentleman in there who was being interviewed. I don't remember his name, but I found the interview pretty fascinating. His family started off as, they had a farm, like they did a dairy. And then later on, as he got older, he started working for, I guess it was the USDA, and he became an organic farm inspector, and all of that stuff. But what really caught my attention was when he was talking about the dairy and about cheese making, and how a lot of cheeses, now of course cheese is basically curdled milk that's been aged and all that stuff. Generally, milk is just going to curdle over time, being left out. You know, that's just the natural process. But enzymes are added to it to make it happen faster, to do the flavor and all of that stuff. But some enzymes come from plants. Some of the enzymes come from rennet from a cow, like, you know, the stomach lining. But some of them come from pig. And I did not know that. And so I began reading the ingredient labels on my cheeses. And some of my cheeses are good, some of them are not. And so I decided to order some great big blocks of cheese. And I'm just going to portion these off into sections, because obviously I'm not going to go through this much cheese that quickly. I'm going to portion this off into, like, say, 5 blocks of cheese, wrap it up in some freezer paper. And then I'm going to shrink wrap it, you know, with my food processor or my food saver, and freeze the rest. And then I can pull it out as I need it. And if you're curious about that podcast and you want to hear it, I will put a link to it in the video description down below. It was pretty fascinating. All right, and then the last thing that I ordered this month was, 2 things. They bagged it up because it was in a box with food, but this wasn't food. I decided to give this a try. It's a shampoo bar. Longview Farms is the name, and it's a goat milk shampoo. And then the last thing I got was laundry detergent. Now, last month I had gotten the deodorizer, which works really good. I've used it for my dog blankets, and so I decided to go ahead and get a jug of their detergent as well. And so this will last me a long time. This jug does 128 loads. So that is my Azure Standard haul for this month, and I'm gonna go do chores, and then in a little while I'll show you what I was baking earlier. Alright friends, so here's the dog treats. I've got my cheese portioned out and you know, put away for the freezer. And here are the doggy treats, the peanut butter pupkies, I think I called them, I don't remember. Peanut butter dog biscuits. And all of the doggies are outside except Old Man Duke right here. Oh boy. Yeah, you want that? Can you shake? Oh, thank you. Yes, a double-handed, huh? All right, there you go. All right, friends. So I am going to get these put away in the treat jar. You know, you can see they do kind of look like a shortbread cookie, a little bit thicker. And of course, they're peanut butter. But my dogs love these things. I don't make them anywhere near as often as I should though. But since, you know, we had that episode, 2 episodes now, of my dogs getting sick from dog treats, I think I'll be doing this a lot more. So that is it for today, friends. Thanks for spending some time with me here again at the homestead. My name is Constance from Cosmopolitan Cornbread, and I'll talk to y'all next time.